Hello and welcome everyone, and thank you for joining. What's new in NetSuite? Latest innovations you need to know. My name is Kevin Dupree. I'm one of the vice presidents here at Rand Group, responsible for our NetSuite business. And excited to talk to you today and walk you through the most important innovations released by Oracle NetSuite over the past 6 months, focusing more exclusively on the 2026.1 release. But covering everything that's been released over the past 6 months, this would be longer than a 30-minute conversation. So what we'll do today is we'll focus on what actually drives business value, which is automation, insights, and scalability. And at the end, hopefully you'll have a clear understanding of where NetSuite is heading and how it can impact your organization. So let's get started. So we're going to walk through 6 key themes that define the latest release. These themes reflect where Oracle is investing heavily, and I'll connect each area back to real business outcomes, not just features. But you can see here we'll focus on AI and automation, financial innovations, analytics reporting, supply chain, and then some user experience. Used to be user interface, now it's user experience. Platform updates, and then wrap up with some key takeaways. And certainly one of the key takeaways is taking a look at some of the 2026.1 release features. Certainly you can reach out to us. We're happy to help you with those, getting full value out of those. Some of them just require a little checkbox. Some don't require anything at all, just a little bit of knowledge as to where to go and find those things. But we'll explore some of these things as we're going through. So the audience for today's presentation are people that have NetSuite as well as people that are considering NetSuite. So for those of you that already use the product, bear with me here to just provide a little bit of context for those that are still evaluating it. But NetSuite being a cloud-based solution, one of the benefits of a cloud-based solution is continual improvement and investment in new features and functions. But NetSuite has typically 2 major releases a year. They all have the year prefix, and then .1 that comes out in the first half of the year, .2 comes out in the second half. But this is a continuous innovation model. And then one of the big advantages is that all of these updates are automatic. The customers that have the solution don't need to re-implement, and there's not a significant amount of downtime. And if provided that you have a sandbox or a test environment, that is upgraded first, so you can go ahead and make sure that your users are aware of the new features and functions. If there's any integrations to other systems, those can be tested out prior to the production update happening. But one of the major themes that Oracle has is making NetSuite smarter, not just bigger, meaning more features, but smarter in that they're adopting more and more of the capabilities that we see today with artificial intelligence. So that's the major theme: artificial intelligence everywhere. So it's embedded throughout the NetSuite platform. And you'll see as we get into later this year and into 2027, there's just going to be more and more features that have some sort of AI enablement behind them. But if you look historically, ERP systems captured and reported data. So now what NetSuite is doing is actively interpreting that data and helping users to make informed decisions. And this shift reduces the reliance on manual analysis, what we used to have to print reports and spreadsheets and everything else. And it really just accelerates the business processes themselves now. So you can be a little bit more nimble, if you will. So let's get into some of the other capabilities here that are AI related. So and we'll dive into a few of these things in a little bit more detail. So we're not going to go through PowerPoint. Well, we will be in PowerPoint exclusively, but I do have some screenshots of some of the features there. And then, as I said, if you want to reach out at the end, happy to have a one-on-one conversation with you, or if you're an existing client, your consulting team can assist you with this. But getting into these features here, AI generated summaries. They're going to help users quickly understand reports without deep analysis. If you've run any type of report, so let's say you run an income statement, that most companies will run. That might be multiple pages long, depending on how detailed or summarized that income statement is. But these AI-generated summaries can kind of quickly pull out insights from the reports themselves, without a lot of deep, i.e., time-consuming analysis. Intelligent close automation. You probably have seen recently, within the past couple months of this conference date, the Anthropic CEO coming out and talking about how AI is going to disrupt the ERP and accounting processes, and AI is going to be closing the books and everything else. And I'm not saying that it won't, but at least currently, there's some AI capabilities in the closing process, variance analysis, other things that go on that we used to have to keep closing schedules for and do some labor intensive things, and that's getting automated. Payment prediction. So it helps finance teams forecast cash flow more accurately based upon how customers are actually performing, and are they paying according to terms? Are they paying late? Are they starting to stretch us? And all of those things factor into the AI model that is calculating those things. Natural language search allows users to ask questions instead of navigating menus. So we can ask a question, and NetSuite's going to return the answers to us. And then anomaly detection. That's one of the things that the people used to have to do, is go through and look for these things, and sometime reactively to that, because they couldn't predict what was going to happen, because there was just too time consuming to do that. But it helps to flag these trends that might be negative trends before they become major issues. So there's going to be AI throughout this whole presentation, but let's talk about some of the financial innovation focuses and improvements there. Obviously, it's an ERP system. NetSuite's an ERP system, so this is one of the most heavily invested areas within NetSuite. But the focus is really on speed. Closing faster, better accuracy, reducing errors, and automation reduces the burden on the finance team, allowing them to focus on strategy rather than transactions that might be repetitive and so on. So we're reducing our manual effort. So some of the features that are in the 2026.1 release: journal entry flexibility and control. One of the features, there's many that you can read about, but one of the challenges, if we're using workflow to approve our journal entry. So if I put a journal entry into the system and it needs to be approved by the controller or the CFO or whoever it is above me within the authority matrix, if that journal entry is being routed for approval, it's in pending approval status. But we needed to, we needed to edit the posting period. The period that it was going to fall into was incorrect. We used to have to reject it, have somebody reject it, and then make our change, resubmit. And now it allows us the flexibility of making some edits while it's in that pending approval status. Automated approvals. NetSuite for reclassification journal entry. So we're moving a debit or credit balance from one account to another. We can now bypass, that manual approval process. The update prevents multiple reclassification journal entries from having to be approved and avoiding duplicate, GL impacts and other types of things. Suite billing. There's additional features and functions for complex subscription and usage-based models. But then intelligent close and payment prediction. Let's talk about those things in a little bit more detail. So intelligent close, it's something that's pretty simple to turn on in the company setup, the accounting preferences, and by doing so, it puts a portlet onto the home page. Provided that you have the proper security roles. And we won't go into all the details of how to enable this, but you can look at the release notes or reach out to us. But it provides a centralized view of all of your tasks, the estimated impacts, and then any AI-driven exceptions, including incorrect amounts and projected activity. So from the close manager, you can manage close activities by reviewing and acting on outstanding tasks. You can kind of see, some of the tasks in the screenshot that I've taken here. You can go through, address exceptions. You can monitor the progress. But the big thing is that your users need the appropriate permissions to gain access to this. So it's something that's easy to enable, provided that you have your users set up properly as far as the access that they need. And then payment date prediction. I talked about that previously when we talked about AI analyzing customer payment trends and so on. So once again, you can see the intelligent. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to bounce back a screen. The setup is just a checkbox. Now, by default, this is turned off by default, so you do need to enable it. But by doing so, it'll go ahead and expose two additional fields. The payment date prediction, you can kind of see in the highlight there. And then the predicted overdue days. But the key thing here is once you turn it on, and the purpose of the screenshot is to show you that once you turn it on, yes, those columns will appear. They will also show up on the invoice form, provided you haven't customized the invoice form. And there won't be any data in those fields because it takes about a day, about 24 hours for it to run through and populate that information. So just because you turn it on and you don't see anything is not a bad thing. It's just, it takes some time to populate. But the other thing to know that if you're newer to using NetSuite, it requires at least 12 weeks of historical payment data and at least 50 paid invoices before the start of this 12-week historical period in order to have enough statistically meaningful data to start that. So, if you waited 24 hours and you still don't see anything, it could be because some of the historical data prerequisites haven't been met there. So, moving on to analytics. Analytics in itself is evolving from static dashboards to more dynamic insights. And instead of us now looking at dashboards and asking, well, what happened? The users that are looking at these dashboards can now ask questions of like, why did it happen? So we can prevent negative things from happening again. And then the positive things, we can reinforce those and make sure that they continue to happen. But AI-generated narratives also explain these trends, and this significantly reduces the need for manual data interpretation. It's not replacing people, it's just doing the labor-intensive compiling of data and the trends and everything else, so then you can look at those results. And you should look at those results also with a little bit of a skeptical eye to make sure that AI is not producing what they call a hallucination. I think that's the right word, but correct me if I'm wrong. But where it's interpreting the data incorrectly and producing a bad result, a result that's not true. So just because it's artificial intelligence, it still needs somebody to take a look at and make sure that the data is correct. So one of the big things in here is obviously reporting and data enhancements. So, the AI summaries and reports, we're going to look at that in just one second. We'll look at the pre-built analytics templates. But the connector enhancements and the Oracle Analytics Cloud integration. So Oracle's really closing the gap between ERP functionality and business intelligence platforms. The Model Context Protocol, or MCP, that Oracle has that allows you to connect your Oracle environment to Claude or ChatGPT or so on, so that you can use AI platforms that you're familiar with to not only ask questions about the data that you have in NetSuite, but produce reports and other things that come out of that. Those are that's just one example of some of the connector capabilities that are out there. But let's look at the narrative insights. So there is a list of reports that are enabled for narrative insights, and right now that list is rather lengthy. We're just looking at a screenshot here of an income statement because it applies to everybody's business rather than looking something like an inventory valuation report. But when you run that report, so when you run an income statement report, which you're probably familiar with if you use NetSuite today, there's a new button called Generate Insights down there in the bottom left. When you click that, it will open up another browser window, and you'll see here by clicking that it goes ahead and provides us an executive summary, the top findings, risks, opportunities, etc. So this is doing a lot of that analysis that people were having to do before, and now we can take that information, make decisions, and move on quicker. So all of this is enabled very quickly, once again, through the company setup. So you're going to go in NetSuite, the setup menu, company, AI preferences, and there's a narrative insights tab where you'll be able to enable these things. So just turning it on, like I said, it's going to provide a wealth of information to you, and it's not something that requires anybody to do extensive training or configuration or anything else. So at the very least, I would suggest that you turn it on and see the insights that it's producing, and find or make a decision for yourself if that provides value to your company. I would bet that it would. So, but as far as the list of all the reports and everything else, you'll have to look at the release notes. I have a link at the very end of this presentation to the URL for the release notes, so that way you don't have to go searching for it. But the other thing here is analytic templates. So Suite Analytics it currently provides over 20 predefined workbook and data templates. You can see some of these here in the screenshot. And the data templates come with all of the required fields, record types, and the filters that you need. So you can create a workbook without setting up a complex data set first. The workbook includes predefined workbook visualizations like table views, pivot tables, charts, and allows you just to easily analyze and visualize that data from the related data sets there. But just because they're templates, I mean, it is what the word implies. It's a template, so it's a starting point. But you can still go and customize or tailor the template to your specific needs and save those as your own. So you don't have to, you're not altering the template. You're creating things from that template that are to your specific role or to you as an individual. But you can also connect it to other data sets as well. So if you need to marry data from another source that's not included or incorporated into one of the templates, you can go ahead and do so. If you don't know how to do that, once again, we're here to help. So let's look at some of the operational and supply chain pieces. So these two, just like on the financial side of things, I think the financial side is kind of outpacing a little bit. But this is where the supply chain capabilities continue to expand, and the goal is to provide more end-to-end visibility from procurement all the way through the fulfillment process and everywhere in between, including manufacturing and everything else. And then these updates help companies to operate more efficiently and to respond to disruptions faster. We've seen that with tariffs and other things going on in the world. The disruptions to supply chain can cause a ripple effect, not only through your business but the economy as a whole. So some of the key features. Consigned inventory, if that's important to you. Either your inventory is at somebody else's warehouse, or sometimes we have customer inventory or something at our warehouse. In the 2026.1 release, the consigned inventory management feature allows you to track vendor consigned inventory using a distinct set of inventory statuses. The feature allows you to process consigned inventory as just regular inventory or even lot or serialized items from purchasing and receiving all the way through the outbound fulfillment. And it supports the processes like vendor returns, inventory counts. I know with some of the clients that I've worked with that had consigned inventory, they had reporting requirements back to the customer to say, this is how much of your inventory is remaining at our location. But also, if you have like min-max levels established for the inventory that's consigned to you, we can also deal with like replenishments and adjustments and so on. And if you have multiple locations, you can assign a location to your own consigned inventory as well as inventory that is consigned to you. On the warehouse improvement side of things, there's enhanced picking, receiving, and overall efficiency shipments. Shipments processed through the app, even if item receipts haven't been posted yet. What I mean by that is, as we're going through the process, we can see the reduction of inventory, even if that transaction is still flowing through like a workflow approval process. If we've already picked it, we might want those quantity on hands to be reflected or adjusted right away. And so now that's possible through some of the warehouse improvements that came out in this 2026.1 release. So kit and package items, you can now use the search inventory process to view information for these kit and package items. You can print labels for each of the components of a kit or a package. And those can also include any lot or serial number controls that you have. And then finally, on the landed cost side of things, it just provides better visibility to true product costs because if you've used the landed cost feature, you can now activate this set landed cost during receiving. It's a system rule. And then there we can go ahead and put in the estimated landed cost. So, what we're expecting. Or, if we know it right away, we can put the actual landed cost in at that point in time. But we can do so right there from the receiving side of things. So on the user experience side, what we can see here is user experience, it plays a critical role in adoption, right? The look, feel, how intuitive is the system? That's one of the things that Oracle NetSuite has always been known for. Hey, it just looks nicer than some of the competitors that are out there. It's more intuitive, etc. And so Oracle is currently rolling out their Redwood user experience. You can turn it on right now. You can go into your user preferences and turn on the Redwood experience. It's not throughout the entire solution yet, but it's kind of becoming more and more prevalent as it's going along. And it's a theme that gives NetSuite a different look and feel. It offers different colors, icons, fonts for many of the NetSuite pages, portlets, and features. I personally like it, over the older interface, maybe just because it's newer, but it just looks cleaner, I guess. The improvements on the dashboard side of things and search, once again, it's just trying to make the system more intuitive. And all of these things related to the user experience side of things reduces overall training time and just improved productivity, especially if you're bringing new people on that didn't have the luxury of going through the implementation, being trained up during the implementation process, because those people are being trained by other people in the organization. Not saying that they're doing a bad job, but it's like the old telephone game of where you say something to the person next to you, and by the time it gets 5 people removed, what was said might be slightly different. And so this streamlined navigation and the user experience improvements just kind of eliminate or tries to prevent a lot of those problems in transferring knowledge from one person to another. Slightly on the technical side of things, I would say that there's some platform and developer enhancements. Expanded APIs. I mean, that the latest version of Suite Cloud extensions for Visual Studio. It introduces this Suite Cloud Developer Assistant. And what that assistant is, it's an AI-powered coding assistant designed for Suite Cloud developers. It's integrated with Visual Studio Code through an extension, and it uses the advanced language models specialized for Suite Cloud and Suite Script to support NetSuite customization tasks. So once again, AI is even in the technical side of development, where we're having AI develop some code, and we use this ourselves to try and speed the implementation of custom features if they're needed. But this AI-enabled development opens new possibilities for automation and customization. And then finally, on the security enhancement side of things, we just want to make sure that the system or the platform itself scales with the business, but also maintains the level of control that you need. So there's also a lot of industry enhancements. Suite Success is one of those things that there are some industry verticals that produce dashboards and other tools. So there's been some additional features and functions added into that as well. But I would, just kind of wrapping up, one, at the very bottom, you'll see the link to the release notes. You can obviously Google this or, put it into your search engine of choice. Just searching NetSuite 2026.1 release notes, or you can follow the link there. But I would say that you can see the big bullet points that AI is now core to the system, and it's going to become more and more prevalent. And because of that, the bullet point over on the right, the analytics becoming more predictive, because AI is able to interpret a large amount of data and get some more meaningful predictions. But NetSuite just evolving into an intelligent platform. And I would say that the combination of AI, automation, and analytics is transforming how businesses operate. And these updates are not just incremental. They really represent a shift in how ERP systems are delivering value. And Oracle is just a leader in the marketplace for this. So I would encourage you to take a look at the detailed release notes. Obviously, in 30 minutes, we can't get through every single thing. But if you do have questions, feel free to reach out. Here's our contact information. Excited to talk to you about any of those features. Suggest next steps, how we might be able to assist you, or even just answer miscellaneous questions. So I hope you all have a great rest of your conference, and look forward to working with you and talking to you in the future.